Assalamu alaikum and very good morning. Today our presentation topic is LGBT phenomenon in human rights perspective. This is the name of our group member. I am Tanvir Rahman, student of PMMS. This is the presentation agenda. First introduction, objective, lecturer review, methodology, discussion and finding of the study, conclusion and suggestion for improvement, and finally acknowledgement and reference. Introduction. The phenomenon of human rights. The moral doctrine of human rights aims at identify the fundamental prerequisites for each human being leading a minimally good life. That's mean general right of a human. And the most important of fundamental rights that collected under this title is the right to life, the right to liberty, the right to equality, the right to freedom of expression, the right to freedom and opinion and religion, women's right, the right to practice in social and political life, and the right to personal property. The philosophical basis of human rights in the West consists of three important principles: the principle of human dignity, equality, and justice. LGBT human rights committee has been praised as one of the most influential human rights bodies in the world. However, its track record for the protection of the rights of lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender persons has not yet been comprehensively or systematically examined. Actually, LGBT is lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender. Lesbian is the one who is romantically or sexually or emotionally attached to men. On the other hand, a gay man is one who is romantically, sexually, or emotionally attached to men. And another is bisexual person is someone who is romantically, sexually, and emotionally attached to people of the gender both the same and different to their own. And finally, a transgender person whose gender identity, initial feeling of beginning male, female, or no binary or gender expression differs for the gender they were against at birth. LGBT rights and freedom of religion. The difference between human rights in the West and Islam is that God. The philosophical basis of human rights in the West consists of their three important principles: the principle of human dignity, equality, and justice. But the difference between human and rights in the West and Islam is that God is at the center of the Islamic worldview, while in the Western world, in the man is the center one, and man is the measure of all rights. On the other hand, the principle of foundation of human rights in Islam are the principle of the human dignity, the principle of God shaking, the principle of human immortality, and the principle of its development in relation to the set of beginning. LGBT right and freedom of religions are totally different. LGBT rights against to the freedom of religion of Islam. That's all for the discussion. Now I am refer to my friend to continue the presentation. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and hi everyone, my name is Muhammad Nuzuladilan, and in this part we will explain the literature review about our film, which is LGBT phenomenon in human rights perspective, Cintaun or Dependent. First of all, this is about histories about LGBT or homosexual, which is first met in Mesolithic rock art called Grotta del Adura in Sicily. These phallic male figures in pairs that have been interpreted variously, including as a hunter, acrobat, religious initiate, and depiction of male homosexual intercourse. This is a short theory about homosexuality, which is stated by Karl-Heinrich Ulrich. He is a German lawyer. He is a modern LGBT career. He's from Germany, and his speech on 1864, which contained the gay people is a distinct group of sexual identity as an innate human characteristic. This theory about homosexual happens before because feminist soul buried in body of man. So back then, his theory is received a lot of blasphemy and criticizing in Germany, but also his speech arose the homosexuals of his time. LGBT symptoms are defended. So, at the first theory, we have Evelyn Wicker, as she is an American psychologist, most notable. His theory on the paper that the adjustment of the male offered homosexual. She have a theory that homosexual came from environmental and people influence. And then the second theory, we have a professor of psychology in the School of Behavioral and Brain Science, John Sandrock. He thinks that sexual orientation is described as a person's sexual impulses consisting of opposite sex, same sex, and both sex. Gay and lesbian are recognized as self-identities. And then the third theory, it came from Harold Evan Kaplan. He have a theory that sexual orientation is described as a person's sexual impulse consisting of opposite sex, same sex, and both sex. Gay and lesbian are written as self-identities in a community or environmental for social identity. Next, LGBT and human rights. Next 11, United Nations Committee in Human Rights says, the human rights are rights according to law that is made through a process of law and formation of the community itself, either way nationally and internationally. The next theory is from English philosopher, legendary and political theorist John Locke. On his theory says, man before lived as a state or in a natural state has lived in peace with their respective rights, namely rights to life and rights to liberty and rights for respect for his property. But this is a theory from John Rawls. He is a philosopher from United States who became famous in 20th century. In his book Theory of Justice, he has a theory: if human rights have three limitations, as if that three words fulfillment of all human rights will be achieved.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Methodology. Our work is based on LGBT phenomenon in human rights perspective. The methods used by our group to obtain information are online references, articles, journal, interview script, and LGBT websites. Why did you choose online references? Online references offer a wealth of knowledge which comes with so many facts in one single source. It also comes with critique, and we are prompted to seek out their sources to verify whether they're true or not. This information also comes in different form, include videos, images, graphs, tables, photographs, etc. Why did we select articles as a method? Articles contain good ideas, sound methods, and accurate research. Why did we choose journal? Journals contain a wide range of occurrences, experiences, and observations. For example, the Journal of LGBT Youth is the interdisciplinary forum that dedicated to improving the quality of life for lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and questioning youth. Why did we select interview script as a material? Interview is the best way to gather critical information and explore the views, experiences, beliefs, motivations of individual participants about a specific issue. Why did we choose LGBT websites? LGBT websites are basically made for LGBT people and intended to help any faculty, graduate, or undergraduate students to find information about LGBT people.
Assalamu alaikum. Dan Salam Sujahtra. My name is Muhammad Yahya Al Qatta. Matric number B0620104454. Today I will talk for the finding of this study. In this paper we have collected information about LGBT people, about their numbers and the reason for this sexual conversion. And we also listed hypotheses as to why this happened. We also mentioned their types and names throughout history, and we talked about the strategy of homosexuals to justify their mistakes and demand equality. We concluded by mentioning the role of the United Nations and human rights in the normalization of this practicing.